Good, evil, second wage war, from hero to hero's pet. Hello, I'm XRTT, and today I will be talking about the character known as Merton McSnurtle, also known as McSnurtle the Turtle, also known as the Terrific Whatzit. It's the 80 years old turtle from the DC portfolio. Wikipedia says that it was DC's first animal talking superhero, first appearing in Funny Stuff issue 1, and was created by writer-artist Martin Naydel. Comic One claims that this issue went on sale on June 16, 1944, so you can say that today Merton is 80 years old. Happy birthday to him. Who is Merton anyway? At the beginning of the first story, we meet two Vulcanids, powerful inhabitants of the planet Vulcan. The first one is Prince Highness, governor and director of all good on Earth, and the second one is Prince Lowness, boss of all the evil. The good one believes that great superpowers only make an honest person more honest, while the evil one believes that power corrupts everyone. So they decide to give powers to someone who is 100% honest. The special ray looks for someone like that, but finds some dishonesty in everyone. Even minor ones are disqualifying. Eventually, however, a perfect candidate is found, Merton McSnurtle, who is so lazy that he has never done anything dishonest because it will require some efforts. Merton is transported to the planet Vulcan, but his shell is destroyed during landing, causing Prince Lowness to ask what is it. This way he gets his new name, Whatzit. At the end of his stay on Vulcan, he is given a new shell and the full name of his new superhero identity, the Terrific Whatzit. On the Earth, we also get to know what kind of thing was inside in the shell, automatic conscience, which tells him that he is super truthful, which I mentioned because this is another DC character with that name, but he was introduced many years after this comic. His superness is very inconsistent depending on the author's needs. Sometimes he's bulletproof, shooting him does nothing, and other times he just needs to be hit in the head with a broom and he passes out. The theme of bet and honesty basically disappears after a few issues. McSnurtle does things that could be kind of questionable, especially considering the things that were previously considered disqualifying for a honest person. All stories with him end with an invitation to the next issue, which will contain the next comic. This is also the case in issue 17, but we don't get any continuation. The series ends without a word. So, Terrific Whatzit's career lasted 17 issues. For the first 10 issues, his comic was one of 5 in Funny Stuff, along the Three Musketeers, J. Raffles Lion, Drumhead's Bulldog, and Blackie Bear. From issue 11, a 6th comic book, Warus and the Rooster, joined the group. In the 17th issue, the comic Henry the Laughing Hyena also debuted, and from the 18th issue, the Dodo and the Frog replaced 2 stories, Terrific Whatzit and also Drumhead's Bulldog. Esther Eggy, leagueofcomicbookgeek.com, and DC Wikia says that Martin Naydel was the co-creator, along with Gardner Fox, of another character from the DC Pantheon that interests us, one of Flash opponents, the Turtle. So Martin Naydel has 2 solid Turtle contributions to DC. His connection to the comic with the Flash also explaining what's it outfits. Turtle's debut was in 1945, so he has the second Turtle creation of Martin. We'll come back to what's it in a moment, but in the meantime, 3 words about another character who can easily be confused in him. The Comic One site that we mentioned at the beginning treats them as one character, but in my opinion, there are 2 different ones, only with the same name. The second version is very active, also often a shopkeeper, but in terms of character, he is the opposite of Terrific Whatzit. This turtle appears in a large number of comics from DC in series such as Funny Stuff, which is of course the place of the debut of the main McSnurtle, but also the Three Musketeers, Dodo and the Frog, Hollywood Funny Folks, Nazi Squirrel, Comic Cavalcade, Fox and Crow, Leading Screen Comics, Peter Porkchop, Raccoon Kids. He begins to appear intensively in 1951. He is a frequent character until 1955. Then less and less often. The last comic book with him that we know is from 1965. Now, back to the main hero of this recording. Terrific Whatzit is forgotten for 25 years, but he returned to the comic page in 3 issues of the Captain Carrot and his Amazing Zoo Crew series. All discussed issues were published in 1984. In issue 4 he appears only in a painting and is mentioned as the uncle of Fastback, the turtle member of the Zoo Crew. Of course he will get his own recording at some point. In issue 8 he only appears in the teaser at the very end. The heroes go to various times in the past. Fastback goes to the times of the Second World War. The teaser says that in the next issue they will join forces with some of the DC greatest heroes. including Terrific Whatzit. And in the next one, you actually have a duo of Fastback and Whatzit. But Fastback doesn't find out that Whatzit is his uncle, him only costume a superhero version of him. After that, we had another break for over 20 years. The next element we mentioned is 2006, and from then on, there were some elements worth describing every now and then. 2006 itself is just a proper reference, because in issue 31 of Teen Titans, we have some frames from the comic book Captain Carrot and the Zoo Crew. But in this time version, they are only comic book heroes, not real characters. Anyway, in one frame we see a tombstone labeled Snurtle McTurtle, which is probably an intentional reference to our character. The next case we discuss is also rather an Easter egg. The year 2009 and the 14th issue of the Super Friends series, in which superheroes' pets save the world. At the very end, Flash decided that he will also get a pet, and we see the turtle in a Terrific Whatzit costume. He ever has the appropriate letters on his shirt, although the name itself is not mentioned. 2011 brought us a refresh of Whatzit's style. So far, his outfit was in the style of the original Flash, but in some other SmackDown we see him in an outfit based on the current Flash, without TV on the front but with the Flash symbol. It could be debated whether this is the same character, but in the DC Super Pets Character Encyclopedia, published 2 years later, on one of the pages we can see what Whatzit once looked like in funny stuff. The refreshed version appears in issue 12 of Superman Family Adventures, also released in 2013. Another book with him is The Amazing Adventures of the DC Super Pets Whatzit vs. the Ice Blaster Burglar from 2021. It is of course possible that there are some more stories that we don't know about. The next case is again very Easter eggy. Within the Arrowverse, in the Flash series, in the 10th episode of the Fist series, Revenge of the Rogues, a plush toy turtle named McSnurtle the Turtle appears. In episode 10 of season 3, the main character gets a real, ordinary turtle named McSnurtle. Episode 10 of the second season is also the piece of Flash adversary known as the Turtle that we mentioned earlier. The 10th episode of the 5th season of the Flash were very turtle. The two mentioned McSnurtle episodes are from 2015 and 2017. The next incarnation or an Easter egg, you name it, appears in the 13th web episode of the 5th season of the DC Superhero Gears web series. All pets are off, released in 2018. He looks like an ordinary turtle, his hair is painted in Flash color and he gets a medal for best pet personality. We can hear his name, Whatzit, and the mention that he is Flash pet.
Flash's turtle, Whatzit!
The last turtle based on the Terrific Whatzit is probably the most famous. After all, we are talking about the she-turtle named Merton from the quite well-known animated DC movie League of Super Pets. The main element connecting her with the original incarnation is the name Merton, definitely not a coincidence, I think. Besides that, she is an ordinary turtle from the shelter with poor eyesight, who gets the power of super speed. In the end, she is paired with Flash as his pet. Typically for mainstream animation, we also got many sightings, such as comics or books, and of course various merchandise, stuffed animals, toys, in some countries this series, including Merton, was is McDonald's Happy Meals, etc. Finally, 2 words about DIY stuff and fan arts related to Terrific Whatzit. The first thing is a little self-placed. This embroidery that I created. This character is also on the sheet in which I record intros to videos, but it's just a simple print of an official image. I was also amazed by this Lego minifigure made by number 1 nerd. Flash body and helmet, short legs and a Ninja Turtle head and boom, Terrific Whatzit. Charlie X008 showed off his Whatzit cosplay on Flickr. That's great. I didn't expect that I would come across such a cosplay as part of my research, even if it's based off a more modern version. Fans never ceased to positively surprise me. The last element is a graphic created by user Monster Mansion and published on DeviantArt on the occasion of DC's 75th anniversary in 2010, showing the DC Turtles in a version referring to TMNT. We have Super Turtle, Jimmy Olsen as Turtleman, Fastback, and of course, Terrific Whatzit. Link to the sources of all 3 works can be found in the description. That's all, thanks for watching, leave a like and subscribe if you liked it, and I hope to see you again in another video. Bye!